Angle Tennis Podcast hosted by my partner and friend, Dr. Matthew Hanauer, and me, Zach Chakowski. And boy, oh boy, do we have a good one today. We've got a recap. Matt, why don't you tell the people what we're talking about today?
Oh, hang on. I got to take a sip of my new drink.
Oh, is that a drift? Are you ripping drift?
So it's not a drift. We went to Target yesterday.
Interesting.
And a Good and Gather, I'm assuming that's their private label. A little watermelon lime. It's good. I like it.
I am enjoying a peach strawberry spindrift.
Oh, that's
and
good.
It's excellent. It's excellent, although it's not as good as what we're here to talk about today, which is the Durham Retro Racquet Classic, the second annual edition.
Second annual.
The premier charity wood racket tournament in the greater Durham area. Maybe even the Triangle.
We are here to talk about the second annual Durham Retro Racquet Classic. Try to say that fast 5 times. That's difficult.
I hope that when people are listening, they are actually trying to say it 5 times fast, because I don't think I can. Durham Retro Racquet Classic. Nope.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Rolls off the tongue.
It's at a great location during the day. Because why is it a great location, Zach?
It's a little bit like Tennis Field of Dreams in a way. Rock Quarry Park.
What's your favorite part of that place?
Of Rock Quarry Park?
Yeah.
Oh, I like the Choo Train.
The Choo Train, of course. Yeah.
The Museum of Life and Sciences is right next door, and their little train comes chugging along. Go, choo.
Yeah.
On a point that I lost.
Yes.
I tried to call a hindrance and was laughed at. Appropriately.
I think it was an important point too.
Oh yeah, it was match point against you actually on Sunday.
I think that was at Frosty Doubles. I think it was match point, and you tried to call a hindrance.
Hey, so pretty good turnout this year for the DRRC, Matt. What do we think?
How many people would we have?
800,
15?
900. Oh yeah, maybe that's about right.
Yeah, maybe closer to 15 teams.
Yeah.
There was around 30 guys there. We had, how many brackets did we have? 4 brackets?
4 different divisions. A lot of folks made it into the single elimination round. Formatting wise, we did fast 4 in the group stage, followed by full set, 1 set, playoffs, single elimination. Gets folks a lot of wood racket action, but also allows us to keep it to a 1-day tournament, because if we're being real, I don't know, 2 days of wood rackets.
I would have dropped out.
One was enough. One was enough.
Yeah.
One is, it's the sweet spot.
Ton
of wood action, but and like my shoulder hurt a little bit, but not so much that I couldn't justify doing it again year after year, which is what I sincerely hope that we get to do.
There is some controversy around the term fast 4.
Oh.
Because it really wasn't fast 4.
Oh.
Because fast 4 usually implies no ads, right?
Technically, I believe you're correct, and I think technically we were doing that. I think that every single person involved chose to just not follow that rule.
Oh, were we supposed to?
I don't know. It's funny. Every single fast 4 tournament I've done ever, at every single level, like, look at the other guy like, hey, man, like,
we're not doing this, right?
We're not doing this.
We're not doing that.
And basically, to a person, fuck that.
Yeah.
It's too fast. That's the thing.
Way too fast.
It's too effective. It is actually too fast. You're in, you're out. It's over. Come on. Like, you gotta. Tennis is like a fine wine. You got to let it breathe a little bit.
Yeah. And especially at the beginning, you really, with the wood racket, unless you're out there practicing, which some folks did. If this for someone like me, I don't know about you, I haven't picked up a wood racket since the last RRC tournament. And you got, if you're playing only 4 games, you got to get going quickly. You can't be messing around. And you and I didn't. Well, you got some time to warm up. I literally didn't warm up because I was setting stuff up. With
you were running around. You were wheeling. You were dealing.
Yeah.
You were bringing 20 cases of balls to and fro. Yeah. You jump right into it.
Yeah, and I think for me, David and I had one of our better matches. I think it might have been our best match against Raj and Daniel, our first one. We had a great one. We went to a tiebreak. I forget what it was, maybe 7-4 or something, but we had some really great points.
Yeah, it was funny. Throughout the day, you could see basically with more reps, improvement was coming because people were getting more comfortable with the frame, with the motion, which is a little different than when you're playing with the 98-inch, 100-inch frame. It was cool to see the level go up because, look, by the end of the day, everyone was bringing the heat, and the semifinal matches were spectacular, and the finals as well.
Yeah, it took a little while. Last year I tried to change my game. And I think that failed miserably. So I tried to play more dinks and honestly more like pickleball. This year,
Not a
I just
crazy
tried
idea.
to play tennis. Yeah, this year I just tried to play tennis, and that worked out a lot better.
You're not going to see many players hit more winners with the wood racket than errors. So high percentage, if you can hit the ball deep consistently, not even with pace, really, a pretty darn winning strategy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that worked out well. I think the other thing we got a lot of comments on were the white balls. So we got special Diadem, for some reason, has grass court balls. My theory is that somebody's son really high up or somebody wanted grass court balls, so they had to do it. And so they made.
You don't believe there was a market for grass court balls? This was like a legacy thing, right?
This was a legacy, nepotism, whatever you want to call it. Somebody wanted grass court balls, so they had to make 500 of them, and then once they run out, they're never going to make them again.
It is funny because Diadem clearly makes grass court balls. Presumably, somebody else makes the balls for Wimbledon and the other grass court tournaments. It's just not them.
It's not them.
So, like, why are they white still? These balls have not been used on the Pro Tour or really recreationally in decades. No. And yet here we are with our fuzzy white balls.
And that's why that's why I have that theory about that. Yeah, they ended up being blue balls by the end of the tournament because the court was blue. So the balls ended up being blue.
This is the best low-stakes conspiracy that's happened yet on the show, that the white balls from Diadem are not necessary. There's no market for it, and when they run out, there will be no more. Should we start hoarding these or what?
We might have to, because I think we are the market for them.
They've got to sponsor this next year. We've got to get the Diadem sponsorship next year.
I got a soft sponsorship of 25% off the balls, which I was a little disappointed with. As much if you all saw the pictures of how many balls I buy.
I got to tell you, my only takeaway from that, and no disrespect to the company, is that they hate charity. They hate Parks and Recs.
They must.
And they don't want to do good things in the world.
Must be it.
But next year, if they sponsor us, oh no, that's
we'll say great things.
That's a well-run company.
That is a well-run company.
Who's cornered the market on white grass court balls as well.
They have.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, Rock Quarry Park. It's a public facility. The bathrooms were open. How are the courts?
The courts? Court 8 was not so hot. That was when we played our first match. I think every person slipped in the corner. It was bad. Like, I was really slipping and sliding.
That's not ideal on a hard court.
Yeah. I didn't bring my clay court shoes. Not that I don't know if that would have helped. I didn't bring my mud shoes. I don't know.
Yeah. The
other courts I thought were fine. We didn't play at night. I would never want to play there at night. But
during the worst in the triangle.
They are the worst. I think they are the worst in the triangle.
Long-time listener Skeet Surrency pointed out in advance of the tournament that there's some algae-like growth on the courts, and on court 5, where I played both my matches, it was noticeable. If you were like 7 or 8 feet behind the baseline, there's just this stretch of mush. And it was a little dangerous. The good news is, if you're playing with a wood racket, you can basically just stand on the baseline and forward. It didn't really cause any issues. The courts were certainly in better shape because of the efforts of Mark Schur, Lefty Mark, Sure Shot, Marky Mark and the Hunky Bunch, who brought a leaf blower from home and helped clean things up, as well as a few other guys too. Shout out to them. Anyone else that we need to shout out before we get into the review of the wood rackets and the results?
I think the organizers, so Michael Young running the tournament and playing. He was not supposed to play.
He was an impactful last minute addition, but we'll get to that
wild.
later.
That was wild.
We'll get to that.
Mike Westlander for dealing with the insurance and the taxes and all that stuff. And then you did that? Oh.
Yeah, I know. It would shock me too. But Mike Westlander was probably the single biggest contributor. He did the design, the website, he get the email sent out, he get the GoFundMe, or the thing that we use to buy towels and T-shirts. And he's got this mystery man buddy of his that he works with, Doug, that designed the sickest logo. The shirts, not only are they comfortable, they look fantastic. And all that ran through Mike Westlander. So huge contribution.
So you were the tax man. All right.
No, so actually, shout out to TTP, not attorney in real life, our attorney, but not our attorney in real life, Max Gregson, who hooked it up for us with the insurance guy.
Nice.
I thought it was going to be like a whole thing. When I told him what we were doing, he was just like, "Yeah, it's gonna be about 7 minutes." And it was, honestly. Look, I'm not advocating for insurance fraud here, but we were insured for up to a couple $100,000. So
something could have gone wrong, and
sue me.
That would have been
Absolutely.
fine.
Yeah. You might get some money out of it.
Wow.
Shout shout out to Max Gregson and the insurer whose name I have forgotten. Shout out to Tar Heel Trophy that hooked it up for us with some very snazzy, very large trophies.
They were big.
Those were
big trophies.
Do you think that's a good incentive for folks to participate in future years?
Yeah, I think the bigger the trophy, the better. People really want large trophies.
I don't know what it is. I thought maybe as a child that I would grow out of this. The hunt for a large trophy, it only grows as you get older.
Does.
Like you put more weight on it as you get older, not less. Which
like a little medal just isn't. You can see him in the background. It doesn't do it.
I got a medal for winning a consolation bracket, and I wanted to throw that in the river. I was so pissed. I was like, one, this is a consolation bracket. It shouldn't give me anything. Two, come on, a medal? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think next year we might do a cup. I don't know. Like
do a cup?
Yeah, with an engraved winner name on it and everything. Like the Stanley Cup, but more prestigious.
Can you do a small wooden like a small plastic wooden racket?
Oh, that's interesting. We could do a gold racket. We could absolutely do a gold racket. Literal gold.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Like you said, no one does the designs where it looks like you could be holding your penis, but it's a tennis racket, unfortunately.
I did. I tried to inquire. I was like, do you have a racket where the guy's holding his racket like more at like waist level? And they're like, no, trophy pose for all of them. Come on. Anyway, let's get into what it was like playing with the wood racket. Matt, how'd it go? Tell us about it.
It went way better than last year. Like I said, I actually tried to. I think the key is just to play tennis and not try to change your game. Don't change your grip. I enjoyed it much more. Still lots of frustrations. I think I threw my racket 5 or 6 times, which wasn't bad. I think last year it must have been 10. It was terrible. I hated it. Much more enjoyable this year.
Noises last year coming out of you. Animal noises.
Yeah, it was awful. Noises. Yeah, it was really terrible. Did not enjoy it. I had a much better time. We played well. David and I played well. We lost to the eventual champ 6-3. Nothing to be ashamed about that. It's a good match. How did you feel this year?
I don't want to say that my dad and I were the runner-up. I played with my dad. We were, technically speaking, not the runners-up, but we did lose to the eventual winners in our first match and their first match. So in some ways, we paved the road for them. So I feel like I contributed to that victory, and certainly my dad does as well. I hear you on not changing your game. For anyone with the more extreme forehand grip that's spinnier, it's really hard with a wood racket. So I basically
that's a good point.
Because
I almost have a Continental.
Yeah, the Continental grip helped. What I noticed was if you were able to plant your feet and not overswing, which is easier said than done, of course, you can have a relatively consistent stroke. On the run, I am useless with the wooden racket, and I observed that many others were as well. Unless, other than a lob flick, you just cannot hit a solid running forehand or backhand, or at least I could not. But hey, that's why I lost both my matches. I don't know.
Yeah, my grip is more continental than most, so I didn't have to change much.
Yeah.
So I could see if you have a pretty Western grip.
You've got a one-handed backhand too. The two-handed backhand is tough with the wood racket.
Is it?
It is. It feels so weird.
I didn't even try. I didn't even attempt it.
Yeah. I tried a few one-handers. The slice felt natural-ish. I found the serve translated pretty well for me, and everything else fell apart.
I served pretty well too, which was I thought was odd. But I didn't have too many issues serving.
Yeah. It does make me wonder the age-old East End boys question of who wins on clay in an 89-degree day with 10 to 15 mile an hour gusts of wind, with wood rackets, Andy Roddick or Pete Sampras. And I got to tell you, I got Andy Roddick.
Why? Pete Sampras is way better than him.
Not on clay. On clay with wood, no.
Why is Roddick good on clay? These are two players I actually know something about.
So imagine serving and volleying on clay, not a great idea. Serving and volleying on clay with the wood racket, extra not a good idea. I don't think it works. I also think you can hit the flat serve relatively easily with the wood racket. It's the kick and the slice serves that I thought didn't get quite as much action, which again I think favors Roddick.
I think Sampras is so much better than him, though. I don't think it matters. He's just unbelievably better than him.
Yeah, was he though?
Yeah, he was. He won how many? I forget how many Grands. He
had a better career than him, but like the way the human progression works is like future generations get better. Like I am faster than like median guy of my size 50 years ago, right? Like Usain Bolt is faster than Michael Johnson, who is faster than Jesse Owens, who is faster than whoever the guy was before that.
Yeah, I don't think Roddick was that. He got one win, but I don't know if he was that good. But I'm not the person to. I think that'll have to be up to the EEB chat.
Yeah,
They'll have better insights than I will.
I think it'll be interesting to hear the discourse around that. It's an important question. I know a lot of people are talking about it, and I'm glad that we can contribute to that conversation.
Yeah, I'd like to get other folks in, but I don't think it would be close.
So you and I had a Frosty Dubs match the day after the Durham Retro Racquet Classic. Did you find that your game felt different or better or worse the next day after playing with the wood racket?
I played great. I had no issues.
That's probably where you got the win. Nicely done.
Probably
well, hey. Well, that was for folks that aren't aware, Matt got a very tasty tiebreaker win. Him and Ari got a win over Kevin Mo Young and I. What can you do? Very nice win. Very good win.
Yeah, no, that was fun. But there was I didn't find it too hard the next day going back because again I didn't change my game at all.
Yeah.
And I don't have to change my grip. I forgot that would be very difficult if you have that semi-Western grip. I know some other folks Mike Westlander had a little trouble serving. That's what I've heard. I didn't actually see it, but I heard he had a little trouble serving.
There's a montage that marketing director Daniel Marchuk put together of that is pretty fantastic. I would like to see the montage of various racket throws throughout the day because there are some good ones. A couple from you, one from me.
I had 3 or 4,
A few from other folks. I did see a broken racket at the end of things.
Yeah.
But hey, let's talk about the thing that people want to hear about, which is who was playing well, who won the whole thing. Should we start with the winners?
Yeah. We had Jackson Cabell and Evan P. I cannot pronounce his last name.
Pozangara.
Oh, there you go. Good job.
Yes. Yeah. How do you say it again?
Pozangara?
I think so.
I think I got it right.
It looks like it should be Pozangara, but I'm pretty sure it's Pozangara.
I don't actually know.
We'll
have to get confirmation.
We'll have to get fact checks. Probably not by Max, and that one probably by Evan. But yeah,
it seems like Evan could do that. Yeah.
Look, those guys, both fantastic athletes, and I can't believe how well their games translated to wood. Like they have very few shanks. They were able to make athletic plays. Like decent amount of winners. Like their serves both look good. That really impressive performance, start to finish. I don't think they dropped a match. I don't think they
that I'm aware
stage. Yeah, really impressive stuff.
Yeah. Jackson played really well towards the end there. Yeah. I think he played well the whole time, but he really looked like Jackson. I remember when him and Jaron were on a tear and just destroying everyone. He looked like that Jackson. It was good to see.
It would be good to see. Really fun if there's like a DRRC championship bump if Jackson just goes on like a tear after that.
Yeah.
And same for Evan too, which they very well could. Gosh, they look good. Now, certainly need to shout out the runners-up. Ryan Seiko, his serve with the wood racket looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And then wood racket Michael Young, 5-0 with wood.
I agree.
0 drop-off from his game to with the wood. He was playing fantastic tennis.
Yeah.
Every time I looked over, he hitting a crazy volley or a winner. It was really fun to watch. And considering he wasn't even supposed to play, Michael, as the tournament director, was a last-minute entry because we had an odd number of players, stepped up, managed to run the tournament, and played, and he made the final win home with the trophy. Pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Do you think it's because he wasn't like mentally thinking about it? He just had to step in and just play. There wasn't anything to think about. Maybe that contributed to it.
It's either that or the rec specs, which is a move that I'm trying to make. It's a good look, and he's been playing very well since he made the switch. So you make the connection.
I had those until I lost them, and I do like those glasses. They're nice.
Are you gonna reinvest or what?
No, because I got another pair and those got scratched. So it just doesn't seem like a good investment for me to keep buying expensive sunglasses if I lose them or scratch them.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think the croquis would help, or maybe you put an air tag on them?
You can't put an air tag on sunglasses.
Can't or won't, Matt?
I don't think you can. You have to like duct tape them.
We've got all these PhDs in the area. Someone could figure out how to put an air tag on your sunglasses. I don't know.
Yeah, if I duct tape it or something. So I'm going to go back to the silly green ones.
Well,
they're
maybe
fine.
If you get the croquis and then you attach the air tag to the croquis on your rec specs. This is not going to be the best look, but it would work.
I don't care how I look. If I could get it to be
AirTag.
functional. I've considered it. I'll think about it, but I've got a box of cheap sunglasses I'm just going to roll with for now. But I do like those sunglasses that Michael Young has. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Any other duos that really jumped out at you that you thought played particularly well?
We had a great match against Daniel and Raj, so that was fun.
Yeah. Silky smooth games on both parts.
Yeah, they played really well. Who else? I'm trying to remember. I don't have a great memory. Who else did you play?
So my dad and I played Raleigh and Remco. They were two guys from the farm, friends of Stewart's, and good players. Yeah. I think we had a somewhat competitive match against them. We won the first 2 games. They rolled us from there. Remco in particular, that dude could ball. He looked very comfortable with the wood racket.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. We played – who was our second match? Oh, boy. Feels like ages ago. I know we played Kevin and Betsy, and we had a good match against them. They could still – both of them could really rip it with the wooden racket. We were a little taken aback by how hard they could hit the ball.
Betsy crushes. Betsy can play.
Yeah.
As can Kevin. I think when Kevin unleashes that forehand, if it's going in, you just got to clap and say too good. Because he cranks it.
We were surprised at how hard they were hitting the ball. And I think we played D-Pen and Jeff and played well. So I think D-Pen was fine. He said what was his quote of the day? I drank more beers than I won games.
Hey, it's not a bad day at all.
Yeah.
One player that I got to give a quick shout out to, always a great player on the court, but this has nothing to do with tennis. Best dressed for me, got to go to Stuart Bible.
It always does. Yeah.
The high white socks, he got into character. He looked like he could walk out on center court in 1972 at Wimbledon. It was a fantastic look and a lot of fun.
And you got Josh Lundberg and Al Pick, the Mustache Bros.
The Mustache Brothers.
They look great. Josh Lundberg's mustache was very good.
Yes.
Because it went down with the handlebars. That was really good.
And all of this was captured by the premier triangle area for Amanda DeHoot.
Well, she goes beyond wood racket, but she is the official. Can she be the official? We'll have to ask her if she. We are inviting her to be the official TTP photographer / East End Boys photographer.
I think it's an opt-out thing. She is the official TTP
so
licensed photographer until she opts out, which I get it if that's the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Amanda. Look, she got some fantastic pictures of everybody in the Wilmington tournament. There are some really fun ones and some funny ones. One other duo I got to give a shout out to, the lefties. Lefty Mark and Parv. Oh, my goodness. Like, you don't want to see 2 lefties coming at you with wood rackets. Am I getting that right? Did they actually play together?
I think you're mixing that up from
Sunday. Yeah, whoopsies. No, but so I think it was Mark played with Westlander, right?
I don't remember.
Wesley Landers, MD.
That sounds right, though. I'm trying to look at the pictures and see if I see them together. That seems right. But yeah, that actually sparked. Hopefully, we're going to get in the future an all lefty team. So I'm excited for that.
Tell us about the all lefty team. I like this.
We were just discussing it. We're trying to see if we have enough lefties for maybe a frozen assets team.
Oh, how many players would you need to have a full roster, and how many to have a full lineup?
5 minimum, which we would have. Would like to have 7, just in case. I don't know if there's 7 lefties.
Is it all doubles, and like how many lines are you trotting out?
So frozen assets is 2 doubles, 1 singles. So,
okay. So you, Chris Mansfield, Mark, Parv,
Ezra.
We're at 5.
Is that
Jeff Zhao a lefty?
Oh,
am I making that up? I might be.
He might be. Al Pick's a lefty.
Al Pick is a lefty. Al Pick's a lefty. Oh, that's a very solid all lefty team already. 6 guys.
Think there is another. I think Jeff or somebody. There's another lefty in there.
Can you imagine just being like a guy who got some buddies together, like, yeah, we'll do frozen assets. This will be fun. Yeah. And then you show up and everybody's a lefty. How annoying that would be. Oh, you're gonna ruin for the East End boys and folks who are aware in advance. It'll be like it'll be fun, right?
Yeah.
That would be such an unfun surprise.
Yeah.
Like, who am I playing? The lefty? They're all lefties.
They're all lefties.
Oh no! What is your team name gonna be? The leftists?
The radical left is another team. Left out. The radical left was fun.
Oh, that is pretty good.
I think Kevin Moyoung said that. That's from Kevin from Sunday.
Yeah.
He was like, these goddamn radical lefts.
One other thing, going back to the DRRC for a second, that I just want to toss out there. So a thing that I loved, and I hope that will happen in future years, is after people concluded their tournament, typically with a loss for everybody except for Jackson and Evan, they stuck around. And in part that, Matt, is because you were grilling out.
Yeah, there was
some
food.
Of the yummiest cheeseburgers. There was food. People were cracking beers, which like you're not really supposed to do. Come on, like you're not going to jail for that.
What was your comment you said to me about if we were teenagers? That was a great. That was a great comment. Yeah.
Someone might call the cops on us, but like we're in our 30s. Like no one, come on,
Yeah.
no one's going to stop you. And so people are hanging out. They're having some bites. They're having some bevies. And we had a real tournament atmosphere. So in the finals in particular, it was rowdy. The crowd was into it. There was clapping. There was cheering. Yeah. There was no jeering because we're all about keeping it positive.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really a cool atmosphere, like beyond tournament caliber, actually, from what I've seen sometimes in the past.
Yeah, I'm looking at the final picture of all the dudes. And how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There was like at least 30, it looks like.
Yeah.
And those were just from the picture. I know a few guys had to leave early.
Looking around, there were more people watching the finals of the Durham Retro Racquet Classic than several of the side courts at the Winston-Salem Open, which is an ATP 250.
It really was, yeah.
Slightly more at stake, you could argue, for those tournaments.
Maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe.
I like that take. All right. Anyone else we got a shout out for best dress? We get the Mustache Brothers. We got Stewart with the high white socks.
You had a great mustache as well.
Thank you, sir. For about 12 hours, and then I was encouraged to remove it from my face.
You were encouraged to remove it. That was great. With prejudice. Those are we had everyone, I feel like, got into the atmosphere one way. I had some old clothes my dad gave me. Daniel had a nice classic
you were
shirt.
Very drippy. That's right. I like the pullover. Or the
windbreaker,
polo.
the Mizuno ones from back in the day. Those I break those out once a year.
I'm a little biased here, but my dad rocking the all whites with the white sweater vest. Oh, it's such a good look. The sweater vest in general should make a return to tennis courts, I think, in the winter months.
Yeah, it was great. It was nice to see. I hadn't seen Stephen Holmes in a while, so it's great to see a couple of guys I hadn't seen in a while. So that was fun.
Yeah, and I think, look, this is the second year doing this, and I think we did enough that there's gonna be a third year.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope that it'll continue to grow and hope that it'll continue to be a good time. And also, look, the reality is it raised a little bit of money for DPR, the Parks Foundation.
Yeah.
So it's for a good cause. It's a lot of fun. And I hope that anybody listening will carve out a day for some tomfoolery, for some nonsense, for some ballyhoo with the wood racket in 2025.
Yeah. Anything that you heard that you guys might want to think about doing differently next time?
Yes.
Any improvements? Yeah.
Yes. So a couple things. So the system of entry was a little different this year where you had to buy a towel to get in. I think for folks that like knew the people that were organizing or are in the kind of the main East End Boys group chat, they were aware of it. But I think it was a little confusing for people. So hopefully streamlining the entry process is something we can do. We also, it's been a crazy work year for everyone who I think was organizing. And just also life happens. Hopefully we can get a little bit of an earlier start for next year. I was a little nervous that the weather was going to be cold. It ended up being a perfect day.
Beautiful.
So I don't know if we'll keep the same week or move it a little earlier. It really worked. It couldn't have worked out better there. And then, one thing for us to consider is if more people enter, conceivably we'll do multiple divisions. That's something we got to figure out. We'll get there when we get there. If there are only 8 courts at RQP, it changes the math and the timing if there's 24 teams versus 16 or 48 teams. And so as we grow, we'll have to start thinking about more of those things. But overall, look, the participants were fantastic. Everyone was very patient and understanding. Yeah, I think everyone involved who does this is doing it in a volunteer capacity. No one's making any money off this. If anything, the opposite. Matt, donated quite a few snacks.
Yes, we all lost money. Yes, yeah. So one thing,
except for DPR,
if you don't like the balls, sucks for you. You are going to use them because Mike Westland and I have paid for them, and we cannot use them any time of the year. So you're welcome to complain about the balls, but you will be using white balls until we run out.
One other thing I got to mention, huge shout out to Raj and Ben Redmond for providing folks with loaner wood rackets. That was really great. Yeah, I think one thing that I would love to do next year is do a short kind of warm-up practice. Not tournament, but like a mini, like on Saturdays, a lot of us play at East End.
Yeah.
If we were to do like a mini round robin for folks that were interested, I think that would be nice. Like a Queens Club to Wimbledon, for example. I think that's maybe doable down the road. But look, I know that there's plenty of things that we could improve upon, all kinds of things we could do better. It was a great atmosphere, a great day. But if you have ideas or suggestions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Mike Westlander, to me, to Matt, to Michael Young, to Daniel Marchek, who helped promote. This is a team effort, right? There's so many people that go in that are involved in making a tournament like this, and everybody wants to do it as well as possible. And we're learning. Yeah. None of us studied how to do this.
Yeah, I do enjoy just raw dogging it and coming in after not playing for a year. I just think that's the best way to go.
Raw dogging wood rackets with Matt Hanauer.
It's a new segment.
Okay. Speaking of new segments, let's go to an old segment. Let's do some plugs before we get out of here. Matt, you said you have a surprise plug today. It's not in the doc. What you got?
It's a surprise story / plug. So apparently, as there is another Triangle Tennis podcast.
In Raleigh, yeah?
In Raleigh. My wife was telling me I don't know why she was looking at theirs. She was looking at their podcast, and apparently if you go onto their website, they have a discount for Swing Vision, and Swing Vision is like a sponsor for them.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
Oh my God, I'm so mad.
When she told me. I knew it would make you mad.
As a Swing Vision brand ambassador reject, I've never been angrier. I'm going to use my Swing Vision app ruefully now for the next week at least. That hurts. They also have more listeners than us. They have a lot more listeners, I think.
But they absolutely deserve it, but it does hurt. It hurts
after
so much you put into that.
I'm going to go walk into traffic after this. That's amazing. That's so funny. Okay, hopefully we can do the crossover episode with them at some point, and I hope they should roast us mercilessly about that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, my plug is not as good as that, so I'm going to add an extra one on it. So there's a great sale on Prince equipment on Tennis Warehouse. Like, I couldn't believe the prices. Daniel Marchek, director of marketing, ambassador of marketing, and I were texting about it this morning, and he said, is Prince actually a real company? And sometimes I question it because the prices were so great. So check it out if you like any kind of Prince gear.
Nice.
Highly recommend their socks. Mike Westlander got me a couple pairs a few years back, and they are my absolute favorites. And then, obviously, I'm a Phantom boy, and I play with the Prince Phantom P97. So check out the rackets, too. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, there is an opening on the Inacta board. And so if you're looking to get more involved in shaping the kind of the tennis priorities in the area, if you just want to do something good, if you want to volunteer, what a great way to get involved. I hope that folks listening will apply. Inacta is a fantastic organization, and they could always use help. It's volunteer run, and many of our listeners would be excellent if given the opportunity to engage there. So I hope folks will take a look at that.
That's great. Let's do a game around from point A to point clay, from point A to clay. I have a very odd item on my desk.
Bring it.
Titan foam gaps and cracks filler.
You know that a lot of the hard courts have cracks on them, yeah?
That's
true.
You
know what doesn't have cracks on them? A well-maintained public clay court.
Oh, that was too easy. Damn it.
Oh, I'm getting in rhythm with these now. Oh, yeah.
I was like, this is the most random thing. Why would I have this on my desk, you would ask? There's no reason to have this on my desk, so I thought I'd get you with that one. Damn it.
Since we're talking about public clay courts again, I just want to raise something. Public does not equal free. So one of the things that people bring up whenever I am like annoying them by trying to push public clay is like, it's going to cost too much. How are we going to pay for it? Oh, the city can't afford it. Oh, the maintenance is more. You're right. But hey, Cary Tennis Park is revenue positive because they have court fees and they charge more for people that are not in town than people that live in Cary, right? So you subsidize a lower price point for the residents by allowing other folks from out of area to use it. They also do all kinds of events. There are all these different ways that they generate revenue, right? There are no public clay court facilities in the area. Many players prefer clay. Perhaps they'd be willing to pay a little bit extra, particularly if they're not Durham residents. It's not. I'm not saying it's going to pay for itself, but the price point is lower than people realize if they do it in a smart way. And I believe that the city and DPR and Inacta could find a way to do a partnership to make it a little bit more reasonably priced. We also we're going to spend, I think, $95 million or something like that on not that many miles of sidewalks. The money is there, okay? Yeah. The city of Durham has a $500 million plus annual budget. They can afford to put in a few public clay courts if enough people want them and would use them, and I believe that they would and they could.
What's that price point at Asheville? What does it cost at Asheville? $5 an hour or something?
I don't know, actually. I got to look into that.
Yeah, we'll get a fact check on that.
I wonder what the price point is in Greensboro, where they also have them, or Wilmington, or Winston-Salem, where they also have them, or Denver, or any number of other cities that have this nice thing that we'd all like. And we just got to stop the defeatism.
Denver has them?
Yes.
Why does Denver have them? You can only play outside half the year.
Because it's a social justice issue, Matt. It's easier on the body. We want to keep the olds active at a reasonable price point.
I'll let you and Twitter figure that out.
Look, you shouldn't have to have working knees to play tennis recreationally at a low price point. You should be able to do it on clay. And on that note, anything else before we wrap up, Matt?
I think we're good. I think that's it. We'll catch you in a couple of weeks when we'll do another episode on some topic that will be enjoyable.
Probably a little bit of Frosty Dubs, where Matt graciously has not done this yet, but should provide a little bit of roasting because he got a very tasty dub over me and Kevin Mo Young the other day.
We did. But I just want you to get on the pickleball court with me. I think you owe me now. That's my only request. That's my only request is just give it a shot with some high-level players. You're going to have a great time. You're going to get pegged in the face. It'll be great.
I am now running away. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the Triangle Tennis Podcast. Goodbye.
There you go.
Hey, that was